Welcome to Monday Emotions, where we defined an emotional word of the day, we describe what it looks like in daily living, and we decide one solution to either reduce it or increase the emotion. If it's negative, we want to reduce or eliminate that emotion. If it's positive, we want to increase it and make it beneficial for our lives. The word for this Monday is admired. This is when you feel respected and approved. You feel like people like you very much. Not bad, right? Not a bad word, not a bad feeling. It feels really good to be admired. It feels good to be admired by someone you're interested in. It feels good to be admired by your coworkers. It feels good to be admired by your children when they notice that you've done something good or that you're smart at something or capable of something. They recognize your value. Now, in daily living, who wouldn't want that, right? Who wouldn't want to be recognized for our value, admired, appreciated, made to feel like people understand us? They understand what we're doing, they understand why we're doing it, and it just makes you feel like, yeah, they get it. They see me, they understand me, I feel valued here. We want that from our jobs, we want that from our partners, we want that from our children, we want that even from parents and siblings and other people. We want to feel like we matter, like we're valued, like it's good to have us to be part of this thing that they're doing, or be part of the family, be part of the community, be part of the workplace. That is a very good emotion to have and a good feeling to experience. Now, we have to be careful with admiration because it may start off as admiration and it may be something that you thrive off of because, if you believe in the love languages that Gary Chapman talked about in his book, which is a great book, by the way, to pick up, in the love languages, to feel admired, right? To feel praised, to feel appreciated, to hear someone tell you how wonderful it is to have you around, how much they respect you, what a good job you're doing. Those are all words of affirmation. And under the five love languages, for some people, that is one of their love languages, words of affirmation. It's a good thing. What you want to be careful of is that need for admiration, the need to be recognized, to feel good, to be included, doesn't become something that you find yourself wanting so much of that you're doing things just to get that. That everything that you start to do becomes about who's going to see it, who's going to say something about it, am I going to be recognized for it, am I going to be admired for it? There's nothing wrong when the admiration comes to you naturally. When someone just feels it, they say it, they express it, and you receive it. That's a beautiful experience. Here's when the emotion can become a hindrance is when you start to look for it all the time. When you start to take those praises, take those admirations, and only expect that and never expect correction or criticism, the balanced approach to a healthy relationship, to a healthy interaction with other people, with your spouse, your partner, with your children, with your family, that it's not always going to be about how much they admire you. It's not going to be always about the good things that you do, but in a balanced, healthy life, balanced, healthy relationship, you'll get both. You'll have your days where you're the best thing since sliced bread in the eyes of your family or your children or your spouse. And then you'll have days where they're like, oh, mom, dad can't do right. That nothing you do is right, or it all needs to be changed or needs to be fixed. And being a person who's emotionally balanced will allow you to be able to accept the admiration, but also accept the correction and the criticism when it's needed, when it's warranted, when it makes sense. So there's nothing wrong with feeling respected, approved, and liked, but you want to make sure that you have balance. So, what does it look like in daily living? We describe being admired as people saying nice things about you, right? And it's important to need that, to hear the good things, to be encouraged, to know that you're doing the right thing, that you're a good parent, a good spouse, a good friend, a good child to your parents, your adult parents. That's important to hear that. But we also want to make sure that we can accept the other side when people are not happy with us, that they can still love us and admire us, but have some suggestions, some corrections, some things that we need to tweak so that we become even better people, more effective in the relationship, and the relationship stays balanced. So, what's the decision that we would have to make around the word admiration? If you're wondering, like, this is a good thing, why do I have to make a decision about this? All right. To increase admiration, you want to keep doing the things that you're being admired for, and you want to do them in balance, and you want to make sure that it's natural, that it's not forced, that you're not stuck to this title, to this role, to this perception that people have of you, so stuck to the point where you're not able to be yourself, to not have those off days, those bad days, those days where you're like, oh, you're not the nicest person. But you don't stay that way. You come back from that, you apologize, you correct, you allow yourself time to recoup or time to separate and have time alone so that the next time you're with that person, it's a good, positive experience. And you don't always look for the words of affirmation, look for the appreciation. It's great when you get it, but it's not something that you're only working towards that, and therefore you're forgetting the other parts of your relationship with that person. So it's important to decide to appreciate being admired, but don't live off of needing that all the time. And when you don't get it, to start thinking that somehow you're doing something wrong because they didn't say something good about you at work, they didn't praise you at home, or they didn't celebrate you in your family or in your community the way that you expected. That doesn't mean that you're doing anything wrong. It just means that you're doing all the right things, and everything's in place and everything's okay. So nothing needs to be said at this time. Now, you may have a moment where you're feeling out of place, where you're feeling as if you need to be appreciated, or you're just not feeling loved or cared for or noticed. That's okay to have those moments. And for the people that are able to and should to show you appreciation and show you love and to express that and that they encourage you, but not to depend on it or go chasing after it. That is when we leave ourselves open for disappointment. When you're chasing after the admiration, which makes you to do things that you normally wouldn't do, to kind of violate boundaries or to do too much just so you can hear it, just so you can feel good about yourself again. And chasing after it is when you're doing way above and beyond just so you can hear them say those words they said before. But it may not be appropriate. It may not be the time, it may not be necessary. That person may be going through something in their own life. They may be overwhelmed. They may be distracted. They may not know to say these things to you because they're going through something that they need encouragement and they don't have the ability to encourage you at that time. So it's important to know when. It's important to enjoy, but not depend on, chase after, and just kind of wait for the next time that person says something good. And when they don't, to feel hurt, to feel neglected or abandoned, when the truth is they didn't say anything good because you keep doing the good things. There's nothing new to say, nothing new to add, so they're confident that you're okay and they're okay. And so they might not know that you need to hear words of affirmation, that you need to be reassured as much as you may feel that you need to. Okay. So So, in looking at the word admired, yes, positive emotion, increase it, keep it in balance. Don't chase after it, don't depend on it, don't live off of it. Just really enjoy when it comes, especially when it's natural and not forced and not pushed, not demanded. But just like the sun rises up and you're looking at the sun rising, it's natural and beautiful and healthy and good. And you don't have to demand it because it came up naturally. So thank you for joining us for Monday Emotions. The emotional word of the day is admired. Go out and do something. wonderful for yourself. Admire yourself. Appreciate others admiring you. And until next Monday, we'll see you again. Have a great day.